Hi, everyone. Welcome to Power Profiles. We're here doing our best to share the stories of remarkable people, hoping that together we can all learn and grow.
Yeah, and today's story really fits the bill.
Your support means the world to us, so if you find any value here, please subscribe. We're really trying to make a difference, one story at a time.
Absolutely.
So ready to dive in.
Let's do it. Today we're looking at the life of Satya Nadella. You probably know him as the CEO of Microsoft, the guy who brought Microsoft back to the top.
Right, but his journey is, it's really anything but typical.
Yeah, it really challenges that image we have of like the classic tech CEO.
Exactly.
This isn't just a brilliant engineer who, just happened to climb the corporate ladder. Nadella's story is about resilience, empathy,
Challenging the status quo. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's actually what's so interesting, right? It's like he didn't follow that straight shot to Silicon Valley.
Right.
Like, the Nadella, he didn't even go the typical IIT route that so many Indian tech, prodigies do. He chose Manipal Institute of Technology instead.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Any idea why? Like, was it a family decision or was it something he really wanted?
The specifics aren't really out there, but it definitely shows he was already thinking independently, even back then. He wasn't just blindly following, the expected path.
Right.
And get this, even after Manipal, he didn't stop there. Moved to the U.S., got 2 more degrees.
Wow, 2 more.
Talk about drive, right?
Yeah, it's like he was intentionally building this really unique skill set. Like each piece was leading to something bigger.
Yeah, like he was preparing for something.
Yeah.
And then stepping into Microsoft in the early 90s. Talk about a culture shock. Back then, Microsoft was this fiercely competitive, almost cutthroat environment.
Oh, yeah.
Not exactly known for being warm and fuzzy,
Right. And I mean, from what I've read, Nadella was and still is, known for being soft-spoken and empathetic. And those qualities, I mean, they weren't exactly celebrated back then, especially in the tech world.
Right.
Some might even say those were considered weaknesses.
Yeah, you're right. That's what makes his rise even more interesting, right?
Right.
How did someone with these quote-unquote softer qualities, how did they thrive in that environment?
Yeah, it's almost like a puzzle, right?
It is.
Makes you wonder if those qualities, the ones that some people saw as weaknesses, maybe they were actually strengths in disguise.
Oh, yeah, maybe. And this is where things get really interesting. You see, Nadella's personal life took a turn that really deeply shaped how he saw the world.
Okay.
His son, Zain, was born with cerebral palsy,
Oh, wow.
and it had a profound impact on him. It wasn't just a personal challenge, it fundamentally changed his worldview.
I can only imagine. That kind of experience really makes you reevaluate everything.
Absolutely. Nadella has actually talked about this openly, saying how this experience cultivated even more empathy and patience in him. It forced him to see the world through a different lens, appreciate diverse perspectives, and in many ways that became the foundation of his very unique leadership style.
So we have this guy, doesn't fit the typical Microsoft mold, facing a massive personal challenge.
Right.
And yet he keeps rising through the ranks. How'd that happen?
Well, for one thing, he delivered. Like early on, he worked on Windows NT, which was huge for Microsoft.
Oh, yeah, a game changer.
It laid the foundation for so many products that came after. And it wasn't just ideas, he could execute them.
So the technical skills were there, and the empathy
A rare combination, right?
definitely made him stand out.
Yeah, and he didn't just stay in one lane. He led online services, the business division. He gained experience across the whole company.
So it's like he was almost intentionally getting a 360-degree view of Microsoft's strengths, weaknesses, the whole thing.
Yeah, learning the whole thing.
Sounds almost strategic, like he was preparing himself to, lead the entire company one day.
Yeah, and that brings us to a pivotal moment. Nadella leading the cloud and enterprise group.
Okay.
Now, this division was struggling, but Nadella, he saw the potential, turned it into a multi-billion-dollar success story.
Wow.
This wasn't just luck. He was already championing Azure back then, pushing for those subscription-based services when so many others were still stuck in the old ways.
So he was ahead of the curve, like could see the future of cloud computing before it was even really a thing.
Exactly. And it's this incredible foresight that starts to connect all the dots between his personal experiences and his leadership style. He was embracing change, understanding what users needed before they even knew it themselves.
It's all coming together.
Yeah, and this is where things get really exciting. We're about to see how all these pieces, the early choices, the personal challenges, that cloud vision, how they all come together and transform Microsoft.
Okay, I am definitely hooked. You won't believe what happens next. So picture this. It's 2014, Microsoft's kind of at a crossroads. Stocks flatlining, they're falling behind in mobile, the cloud people are starting to write them off, yesterday's news.
Yeah, the tech world, I mean, it moves so fast. It's like adapt or die. Right.
Exactly, and that's when Satya Nadella steps in, becomes CEO.
Okay.
Now you might think, all right, another tech CEO, but Nadella, he was different.
Okay, I'm hooked. What do you do? What was so different?
He completely flipped the script.
Yeah.
Instead of obsessing over products, he focused on people. Championed this whole culture of empathy, collaboration, openness. He believed that if you empower employees, foster this growth mindset, Microsoft could be innovative again.
So it wasn't just about building cool gadgets anymore. It was about the people behind them.
Yeah, the culture that drives innovation, right?
Yeah,
and this wasn't just like some feel-good, fluffy stuff. It was a strategic advantage. Nadella understood to win long-term, Microsoft had to adapt, learn, embrace change. Okay, so he sets this new direction. But how does he actually put it into practice? Like, give me the specifics.
Well, he started with a simple but powerful idea, this growth mindset.
Okay.
Now, this wasn't just some trendy buzzword for Nadella. He truly believed that people can learn, they can adapt if they're given the right environment.
So not just sticking with what, constantly pushing yourself to learn.
Yeah.
Evolve.
Right. Nadella encouraged experimentation, even failure.
Oh, wow.
Because even failures, you learn from them, right?
Yeah.
He wanted people to take risks, learn from their mistakes, and just constantly improve.
That's a powerful message, especially for the tech world where everything's moving so fast.
Yeah, for sure. And it wasn't just about individual growth. It was about collaboration. Nadella broke down all those silos within Microsoft, encouraged teams to work together, share ideas, learn from each other.
Creating a more agile, adaptable company. Ready for anything.
Exactly, yeah. But what about the empathy piece? How does that fit in? Well, this is where his personal experience, it really shines through. Nadella made empathy a core value at Microsoft.
Okay.
And it wasn't just about being nice. It was about understanding different perspectives, creating products that empower everyone, including people with disabilities.
So not just a feel-good mission, it was a business strategy.
Right. By being more inclusive, they could reach a wider market, have a bigger impact.
Exactly.
And here comes the really surprising part. Nadella, he embraced Microsoft's competitors.
Oh, wow.
He brought Office to iOS and Android. Can you imagine that happening under the old Microsoft?
Huge shift. It's like saying, hey, we're not afraid to play nice with others.
It was a bold move, showed how much Nadella was willing to challenge the status quo. He understood that openness, well, it could expand their reach and ultimately benefit the users, and it paid off big time.
Okay, so we've got this cultural transformation happening, but what about the products? Was Microsoft actually innovating again?
Oh, absolutely. Nadella went all in on the cloud, doubled down on Azure. It became this massive growth engine for them. And they weren't just playing catch-up anymore. They were leading the way in cloud computing.
It's amazing how he took a company that was like seen as stuck in the past and turned them into this cloud powerhouse.
And they didn't stop there. They made big strides in artificial intelligence, gaming, so many other areas. Nadella had revived Microsoft's reputation as an innovator.
Okay, so the culture's changing, the products are evolving. Bottom line, did it work?
Oh, did it ever?
Well,
Under Nadella, Microsoft's stock price, it tripled. They became the third U.S. company to hit $1 trillion market valuation.
wow, those are some impressive results. Sounds like the impact goes way beyond the numbers, though.
Absolutely. Nadella didn't just change Microsoft. He transformed the perception of the company, proved that empathy and a growth mindset weren't just nice ideas, they were competitive advantages.
This is where it gets really interesting for me. We've seen how Nadella's personal journey, leadership style, led to this massive transformation at Microsoft. But what does it all mean for us? Can we actually apply these principles in our own lives, even if we're not running a tech giant?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's something we'll get into next.
I think what's so inspiring about Nadella's story is that it really goes beyond just the tech world.
Right, for sure. It makes you rethink what it means to be a successful leader.
Yeah.
Like it's not about being the loudest person in the room or having all the answers.
It's like he's rewritten the whole playbook.
Right.
Showing that empathy, vulnerability, a willingness to learn, these are all strengths, not weaknesses.
Exactly. And it's something that can resonate with anybody. It doesn't matter what your field is. Think about it. How often are we told to hide our emotions, project this image of unwavering confidence? Nadella shows us there's a different way.
It's like he's saying, hey, it's okay to be human.
Yeah.
It's okay to admit you don't have all the answers. In fact, that's how you learn and grow, right?
And that's the beauty of this growth mindset, right?
Yeah.
It's not about being perfect. It's about constantly striving to learn to improve. Embrace challenges, see them as opportunities for growth.
And what I love is how Nadella connects this growth mindset with empathy.
Yes.
It's not just about developing yourself. It's about understanding and connecting with others.
Yes. Because when you can truly see the world through different lenses,
Yeah.
understand diverse perspective, you open yourself up to so much more. You become a better leader, a better innovator, a better human being.
Yeah. And that's what makes his story so powerful.
Yeah.
It's not just about business, it's about personal growth. It's about making a positive impact on the world.
It reminds us that we all have the potential to lead, to inspire, to create change.
Yeah.
It's about finding that unique blend of your strengths, embracing those maybe vulnerabilities,
Yeah.
and using our experiences to make a difference.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Satya Nadella's journey, I think the big question we should all be asking is, how can we apply these principles to our own lives?
How can we cultivate that growth mindset, embrace empathy, and lead with authenticity?
Because at the end of the day, it's not about becoming the next Satya Nadella.
Right.
It's about becoming the best version of ourselves.
Absolutely.
That's it for this deep dive into Satya Nadella. We hope you learned something new today, maybe feel a little bit inspired to embrace your own growth journey. If you enjoyed this episode, please kindly subscribe, and thank you guys that